Good morning, good afternoon, good evening for those who will be watching the replay of this another unannounced live stream. I have only two selections today. One is from yesterday, which I didn't do, and one which came in about 10 minutes ago. So we're covering two songs for this live stream. I'm Samuel Tolbert, Sound of Joy Music Services. I consider myself the church musician's friend in that I will not hide from anyone requesting chords, techniques, or any kind of musical theory that if I don't know, I can't search for and get it to you as quickly as possible. So the two songs we're going to be doing, one is from yesterday. Let me see. There's Not a Friend Like the Lowly Jesus was the request. The title of the song is No, Not One. And I believe it's in the key of F. That is the one I'm going to be using, but I will always verify by using my African American heritage hymnal just to make sure I give the correct key. It's a congregational style hymn. Let me just verify. F is the key that my memory says that I've always played it in, but I want to make sure. Number 308. As I say, the better informed you are of how a song goes, then you can build upon that. Yes, it is in the key of F for those who are sheet music readers. Let's see if I can get this to zero in. There it is on page, or number 308, page 308. And you'll see the key signature, one flat, the key of F. So we're going to be working from, as I say, the basics, which is the hymnal written notes, and then we'll build our chords on top of that for the actual musician to become more comfortable with playing it. So I'm going to switch my camera position. There we go, key of F. I always like to look at a hymn. Now, I've played it for decades, so it's not like it's new to me, but this is always going to be a teaching moment for musicians. I want them to get comfortable if they should find themselves in a ministry that all of a sudden plops a hymn book in front of them. You'll have no fear. Key of F, scale-wise. And yes, I'm holding a book while I do my scales. Switch off to the right hand and do the left hand, starting low, 2 octaves, and back down. All right, again, not only is that a way to practice, but to hear the potential notes you're going to be using. So looking at the hymnal version, now, No, Not One, it's 4/4 timing here, but churches will sing it as how they feel. So the better you understand how it's written, then you can adjust tempo-wise. Starts in the third note of the scale. I'm looking at the timing, not a friend. No, not one. No, not one. Counting the timing. And 1, 3, 4. I lost my note. And 2. Rest. So now we have, as I often say, we have our melody. I don't need this book anymore. Let's place it back here where it goes. Now we got the melody path. Melody is built on the scales. Bass chords, we're going to look at the 1 for the number system. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then back to 1. So now we've established where our melody is. Our melody is in the 1. Or it could be in the 2. It could be the 1, the 4, the 1. Still in the 1. Now we could be And the 5, we'll put it in the 5. We'll put a 7 there though. Now, this is something that's tricky about the 5. That's your 5 chord and also the 7 chord, right? A little low. That's the 5 and the 7. Put them together, you got a C7. None else can heal, none else can heal all our soul diseases. Right there in the melody, no, not 1. Put the 7th in there, which is a combination of the 5 and the 7 chord. No, not 1. So again, the bass chords is for your learning. You're not going to be using this when you're playing on Sunday morning, but for your practice session, you need to see where your chords are being taken from. Number system, the 1, the 2, the 5, and the 7 chords are applicable to the melody. Now we build on that. We'll add a little more spacing and move down into our bass range. There's not a friend. Block chords like lowly D. Now we've got our bass down there. We're now giving more support chords. No, not 1. Now if you don't have this reach, you can just do this here. No, not 1. Now we can add some progression movements from the 1. I want to call that the 7, 6, 5, 4, diminish or sharp the 4 to the 5. I'm going to go over that again. None else can heal all our soul diseases. Now there I've fattened out the chords. I've given you some, I'll call this hymnal/classical music, and hymns are really based on the classics because those songwriters or composers back then were in the 1800s. I didn't check to see the year of this song, but you can borrow those chords to help sweeten or fatten up those chords. None else can heal all our souls. This is the jazz turn, the diminished chord. You can stay on the 5. No, not 1. Now this is the gospel feel. 3-part harmony, not 1. So as you see now, as you build out on the song, you're starting with the basics, scales, chords. Now we're into the progressions. Now you pick a particular progression you want to use. If you want to, let's say, give it a more contemporary feel, there's not a friend like the lonely. Now those are the, I'll call it the era of the Hawkins. There's 2, 5, 1, 2, 5, 2, 5, 1. Then go right back to the melody. No. This is a crouch chord. That's the era of Andre Crouch. No, not 1. And you can walk it down to, this is a Franklin chord. None else can heal all my soul. Diminished chord. I'll go back over that. None else can heal all our souls disease. Yes, playing hymns is fun when you know what chords and what style of chords to attach. No, we'll go here. No, not 1. We'll go jazz. No, not 1. So now I've given you 4 different styles: traditional, hymnal, classical, contemporary, and urban contemporary chords. But guess what? The melody stayed the same, but the chord selection changed. On to the chorus. Jesus knows all about our struggles. He will guide till the day is done. There's not a friend like the lowly. No, not one. No, not one. Welcome, Hezekiah. I see your request. Could I do a viewer request? PJ Morton's Everything Gonna Be Alright from the piano album. Everything's Gonna Be Alright. I'm not sure if I did that one already. We'll take a look at it though once I get the second song done, which is a James Cleveland classic. All right, so the same chords technique applies. Bass chords, 1, 4, 1, 4, or your 7 diminished, which way you want to look at it. He will guide 1 to the 6th, 2 major with a 7th on it, and there's not a friend like the lowly Jesus. You know that progression already. The more the song you learn, you're going to borrow those chords, and when you get to a different spot, especially the hymns, once you establish which style of chords you want to use, you can mix and match. So let's stretch that out. G, thus, we'll walk it up, nose. We'll go this way, all about. We'll go with a 7th, struggles. I'm going to cover that again. And walk it up, Jesus. This is your 4 chord, but with a 2 bass, nose. All about. I gave you this chord. This is a good chord to use because it's going to resolve. Walk it up, and we're going to change our chords. Will guide to the day. I'm going to throw this jazz chord in there because it's pretty. Is done. Now, you can go straight or you can change it to another Hawkins chord. There's not a friend like the low diminished chord. Melody at the top. Jesus. Who changes this? Now, well, we'll give you this one. The walk up. No, not one. Yes, help me to hold out is the next one. You just put that request in earlier today. No, not one. So we've shown you how encouraging it is to play hymns once you have a particular style that you choose to place with it. Now, yes, I could go straight. Jesus, no. Or go drop 2. All about our struggles. He will guide till the day is drop 2. There's not a friend like a no, not one. Drop 2 is appropriate. Which is why for the month of April, we've had our chord builder series. All these chords you see me playing have been covered in the chord builder series. So if you want to get an in-depth look at all these chords I'm using, look at all the April videos, the chord builder series, where you will see how these chords are placed in chord charts, which I provide, and how you can just now apply these chords to what you've been currently playing. Yes, if you want to do this in a number system format, that is applicable also. 1, 3, 3, 4, 1, 1. We're going to go sharp 4, 5. Still in the 5. Still in the 1, 3, 4, 1, 1, sharp to 5, 4. That's what I wanted. In the 5. Still in the 1. 4, 1, 2, 1, 4 rather, 1. I keep got to think about the number system. 3, 6, 4, 3, 6, 2, 5. We'll keep it straight. 1, 3, 4, 1. I'll go with a 6, 2, 4, and end on the 4 for the CCM lovers. Yes, you can apply CCM chords to hymns if you know where you're going to place them, but they all are determined on where your melody line is going. All right, so I've given you some different styles. Now, tempo. As you can see, I'm doing it in a practice tempo just so that I can hear the placement of the melody and the lyrics and decide which chords I want to use. What is a tempo to use with this in a church setting? You don't want this song to drag. And the musicians, if there's no one leading the song, you want to urge them if they're just dragging. If they're going, there's not a friend that's dragging. Hopefully you've rehearsed this with whoever the song leader might be, so that they can give it a bit of a, I'll call it a swing. There's the friend. No, not. Now I have internal rhythm built into me, so I can hear the rhythm without a drummer. None else can hear all my soul. No. Now, if you don't have an internal rhythm, that's why you get a keyboard that has a drum pattern that you can select from a practice standpoint, or you work with the drummer and you let them hear the different drum patterns so they don't get locked into just doing fast or slow. When you're doing all these chords, when you have a pattern, you limit the amount of chords you're going to be using because you don't want to overburden the song for those that are singing it. But you want to make sure that melody is heard at the top. Now you can go outside of the melody if you want. Dun, 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 dun. Jazz turn. Not one. Church of God in Christ. No. Not. don't do that. That's what you do in your practice sessions. Okay, so No Not One was the first viewer request, and I didn't do the timestamp. Let's see, we've been on for 22 minutes, so the timestamp should be at around, I'll say the 3-minute mark, because I did not do a long monologue. So we'll put the timestamp to 3 minutes. Just typing it in, excuse my side. Say 3 o'clock. And where have I stopped? At 22 minutes, so we'll stop at 20 minutes. This time stop is for the requester of this selection. All right, I think I got that correct, don't I? Yes. Okay, so the next requester's song came in about 20 minutes ago. Let me change the title here. The James Cleveland selection, Lord, Help Me to Hold Out. They didn't finish the request, but I know the song. Excuse my back as I type. It's in the key of A flat, because I did listen to it to verify the key. The James Cleveland songs will center around A flat and the key of F. Very rarely go outside of that. So let me change chordy app designation so that the chord names will coincide with, oh, I messed that up. It's okay. What do the keys of A flat and F have in common? The A flat, F minor key is the A flat major, if I'm right. Yes. F flat minor is the same as A flat major. So A flat major, more than one octave. Can't mess that up. Got these pedals here underneath my feet. So, Lord, Help Me to Hold Out. James Cleveland, one of his classic numbers that you don't hear sung much anymore. Welcome, Sister Queen Esther. Hezekiah, I haven't forgotten your song. These are the songs I have on the schedule for this live. When you look at a James Cleveland song, you're going to hear his voice being the lead on it. He did a lot of playing also, so you're going to hear a particular style. It is I won't call it a classic gospel era, because there were a lot of different songs coming out around this time. And again, they all borrowed each other's style. So you're going to hear some of the common tones. Looking at the number system, yes, they are based around the number system also, which is why it's so important to practice these chords, not just in their root form, but their extended form also. Let me see, minor. There it is. There it is. Because then you will hear these chords being placed around the melody of the gospel songs. So melody-wise, Lord, help me to. Now that is not a not gospel, not a hymnal movement for melody. Help, Lord, help me to. Why is that G important? Because it's right there. Anytime a scale has a note, you can borrow the chords from that note. In this case, it's a gospel song, so a lot of sevenths. Help me to hold out. And you'll hear that move right in the scale. So for the requester who just happens to be watching, this is where you're going to be working this song. You're going to be in melody and in chords and in patterns. All together. The seventh on the E flat. Now once you get here, there is help me to hold it. I'll give you that bum, bum, bum. Now because I don't know your skill level, I don't know if you've practiced inversion chords, but I do cover this in my lessons I have here on this channel, how you should practice all the inversions in every key, because you never know when you're going to need them. All that is training your ears, number one, training your muscle memory so that when you hear a chord and you find it, you're not in any stress as how you're forming that chord. Now I form it like this because I always want to get my fingers to reach a range, so I'm comfortable. If you've never done that, then you find the fingers that are comfortable, or if you have to, use your left hand until you build a comfort level from practicing chromatic chords. And how to jump chords and jump inversions. How you doing, Brother Mitchell? So, Lord, help me to hold out. Lord, very basic. Help me to hold out. Bum, 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 bum. Lord, help me to hold out. Now you can go different ways. Until my changes come. Now I'm doing three-part harmony. This is what you would hear being played or being sung in this song. But that's where your chords are going to come from. As you can see, once I know where the chords are coming from, I can, as they say, do improv around it. So let me see. Until and I'm giving you the bass hand also because back in that day there was a bass player, but the piano was the lead instrument in that era of songs. Until. Now that is a diminished chord. When you add that A in it and the high side, or it could be this chord works also. Which one do you use? Pick and choose. Until or until. Again, in the scales. except for the 7th, flat 7th. Thy changes come. So that is 70 to 80% of the song right there. What happens now is when you put a tempo to it. Now I listen to the beat, and they're using a standard rock beat with this song, believe it or not. So I'm gonna go to, let's see if I get a standard rock here. We'll try modern rock. And we'll slow it down a bit. Let's see if that's good. A little too fast, slow it down for practice tempo. Let's go with a rock beat. Slow that down. Slow that down. Practice. Still too fast. Slow that down. Slow that down. This one also, my So you can see how once you get an actual beat that you can work with, you can now place the chords in their proper or in a comfortable spot. As you can see, it could be there, or both will work. But the placement of your bass is changing what I'll call a happy tone and a diminished tone just by changing one bass note. Adding that 7th or diminished chord. This is why I wanted to do the series on chord building, so that you can practice the different chords that are available to you just by moving or adding a note or changing where your bass line is. It's fine. The Strickle song, I guess it's more of a contemporary melody. I have some down, but they're only doing traditional gospel right now. Oh, no worries. Oh, no problem. Well, we'll take a look at it, because I'm pretty much done with this song already. As you get this song, Lord help me to hold out down. This is for the requester who happens to be here. I'm not going to out you. Once you get your comfortableness of the melody of the song and working with the lead part, it all becomes now what I call freestyle, which is a jazz term, where you're just now free to go with the song. And you saw me doing some of that. Lord, that's freestyle. Help me. Freestyle. Freestyle. This is jazz, the pentatonic scale. Borrowed from the scale. Ba-da-da. Chord. There's my tritone. I get my. There it is. Drop 2. don't think about it. That's why when I'm slowing down to show it, I know I got to stop and think when my mind says, why are you still there? You should have been off that chord. As you get comfortable playing scales, you will find those chords. Now I'm thinking outside the box, what I would normally practice, adding it to the song. Then back to the song, Lord, outside. The bass, boom. You will hear that walk again in the scales. So if I'm going to count 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Progressions, flat 7, 6, major with a 7th on. We'll give you this one, till my day. When I'm in this chord, I am now in B flat major. That's why these chords will work. Now I'm in E flat. Now I'm back in A flat, which is why I stress it is so. Can you do Oh Happy Day in A flat? I can touch on that. Which is why it's so important to learn scales in every key. This way, when you're in a particular scale and you see the notes in that scale, you will be familiar and comfortable with the other notes associated. What do I mean by that? If you're in A flat, if you're in B flat, which is the 2, now you let that be your root. All those chords in that B flat are now open to you. And you go to the C, now you're open to all the keys in C major and C minor. Because you're going to use those chords to turn into the next chords. D major or D flat major, this is in the scale. All of these notes are open to you also. E flat, well, you know about E flat. F, not only F major, but F minor, which is the same as A flat major. G, when you're going to use a G chord when you're in A flat, that turns you. You have the advantages now of borrowing chords from any key you're in, G, and then you're back to A flat. So it is good, and it's a good practice to just practice not only your basic scales, but the chords and the progressions that you may want to use in any song that you're playing. Another part of the song is Lord help me to hold out. 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 Help me to hold out. This you'll find this song. Until here, whichever one you want to use. My changes come. Turn the button. My changes come. This is what the gospel turns were back then. I would use a different one, but on the album, but until my change. That's the turn I would use. a minor 6 in there. My change. That's all it is, going down the scales. Remember, I did this on one of my lessons where you just practice doing this run in case you want to use it. Is come. All right. There's a request for "Oh Happy Day" in A flat. I gotta be careful because I've been cited on doing "Oh Happy Day," but I'll give you the bass chord: the 1, and then the 4, the 1. We're gonna do a 6 with a whole tone. That's the chord from the album. When Jesus Comes. This is the Hawkins era, so they used a lot of these chords. Come. When Jesus Washed, I say. I can't play it all the way through because I will get triggered with a copyright notification. This chord is in the scales. He washed my sins away. Holding the bass. Put that 7 in there. The pentatonic scale is also in that song. There it is. I'm trying to throw off the AI listening. Bum, 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 bum. He taught me. A bounce. Once you know where the chords are going, then you can do freelance. But practicing this will help you get there. Bum, bum. And the minor. Happy day, and you come out of it. R&B. And end on a 7. All right, that's "Oh Happy Day." So we have a request about a contemporary song from P.J. Morton. Now his songs are very intense, and I tried to stay, as you say, I try to stay traditional because when you start getting into the intense contemporary songs, it requires a lot of. I have to break it down for me before I can break it down for someone else. But let's take a look and hear what it sounds like. As I say, I always like a challenge of a song that I've never looked at. This one sounds familiar. Everything's gonna be all right. This is the P. This is a extra for today's stream. P.J. Morton's "Everything Gonna Be All Right." I think I did touch on that. Okay. Just got to write put in PJ Morton because everybody's done this. PJ Morton. No, I guess I did. Okay, I see the live. Let me go mute on my microphone so I can play it because I can't let you and YouTube hear it. All right, just hearing a snippet of it once he arrived into his chords. The mansion session, that's what I'm looking at. Let me play along with it and turn the mic down. All right, so yeah, he gets wild in there. He gets wild in there. Something I wouldn't do on a breakdown because he's again when a musician writes a song, they take license to do anything they want to do versus a songwriter writing a song where they have a middle, a beginning, and an end. So I can hear already the free flowing style, which would be hard for me to do on a YouTube live or a even do a 8 to 10 minute snippet of summary or lesson also. This would be one where you would have to book a session and we'd have to go through every bit of it step by step because he's just following in B flat. That is the crust of the beginning. Only because those chords are familiar to me from other songwriters. Those are the Kirk Franklin chords. That's the change he did, and he went to the minor 6, right? There it is. So no, I've touched on it, just hearing some of it, and I'm only into the first 2 minutes of a 13-minute set. That's why I say this is it's I can already hear, without seeing the entire video, it's a musician's touch, a musician's take rather, on a set of lyrics that they are just going to play some 2-5-1s chords. 2-5-1, 2-5-1. 2-5-1, 2-5-1, 2-5-1. Switch to, is it 2-5-1? Nope, they're coming out of not 2-5-1. That's like a, it's gonna resolve. This key is in what? Is it an A flat? Nope, this is in C. It's like a, it's changing keys. Welcome, Andrew. So that, I touched on the song. So it's not, again, this is, there are some songs I don't break down, and these are those type of songs where they are musician designed, musician composed, where they're just, especially when it's like this, if they're just basically freestyling. Let me listen to a little more, see if I can pick up anything else that I can share. But I've given you the crust of where the first 2 minutes of his playing is going. Now he's currently here. They're just hanging around this chord. So let me listen to it. I'm going to advance it about 8 minutes and see what else they're doing. And as I had said, this is a musician's song. They've changed the key, and they're at the E flat. Dum, dum, ba-dum. And yeah, this is not something I would do uh, as a YouTube. Yes, you would have to book a session at soundofjoy123@gmail.com because I would have to learn this song. It wouldn't be something where we can just learn it off the bat. I'd have to stop everything that I'm doing. I got a whole series planned for organ for the month of May. That series would have to stop for me to even just start to go through a song like this, because it is getting into the mind of a musician. It's a lot different than learning a hymnal or a choir song or a praise song. This is the mind of a musician having a good time with a bunch of singers and other musicians around them. And it would be costly. I'll just start. I'll give you that right there. You wouldn't get it all in an hour. Just that first part of what they're doing is where I would have to physically write out the chords that I can hear them uh, using, transcribing it basically, and begin to build a lesson upon that. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4, Part 5, change key, Part 6, Part 7. So if you have the funds, FUNDS, then we can work that out. Samuel, in fact, I'll put my email in the chat if you want to book a session. 2, 3, and just in my listening to it, it's in depth. It is what a musician's mind is, and I'd have to get into, and I can hear somewhere his mind at. He's into a contemporary church feel, kind of what you hear Corey Henry do. In fact, we're going to be covering some of the Corey Henry styles for organ in my session. I never like to break down a musician, but I'm going to do it for my organ session because he has some churchy styles that musicians need to add to what they're currently doing now, so they can get that, how they can morph into one style, which is the CCM style, right into a churchy style. So we're going to I'm going to take apart some of his current church. I think he did a series on his church, so Sunday church organ. I'm going to get kind of where I got my actual theme from his latest album, because he's putting it in a jazz church style. Those chords can be relative to today's music. So I'll be looking at breaking apart how he does all of that. Can't be using the actual video, but as I say, if I listen long enough, I'll see the pattern. And that's all this is. Styles: church style, classical style, hymnal style, anthem style, spiritual style. They are just different interpretations of how a composer, composes music. Actually, I was going to do a brief snippet of using row, row, row your boat and apply the different styles to it. That is just a melody. If I wanted to go contemporary or a gospel, hymnal style, that is a hymnal style. If I want to go gospel, if I wanted to go, let's see, what other style I want to do? Classical style. minor, major, minor, 7th, major, thinking classical. There it is. That'd be a classical style. If I wanted to go a Baptist style, I forgot. That would be the Baptist style. Church of God in Christ doubles that up. Church of God in Christ just doubles up the speed of gospel. If I wanted to go CCM, five on the 4, that would be the CCM style. If I wanted to apply contemporary gospel of the 70s, row, row your boat. Won't that change? There. Full chords. Now again, I'm calling out these different styles because those are the eras of music that I learned all these different styles from. So when I apply them, I think, well, gee, what were they doing? If I were going to think Kirk Franklin, roll, roll, roll your boat, that the time of the sea. There it is. His chords are all centered around the 2-5-1, closely packed. If I were thinking Richard Smallwood and roll, roll, roll your boat, let me see, same key. To a minor, he goes to a major, the minor 6, turn, there it is, and he'll drop down right there. That's the Richard Smallwood style. He has classical chords built around a traditional sound. Melody, top, chording underneath, but chords that actually move. And these are all the styles that you see me show whenever I'm playing any song. I'll pick an era. If I wanted to pick, this is, again, I'm showing this for roll, roll, roll your boat. If I wanted to pick the Andre Crouch style, he'll have that kind of movement in his in his style. If I were going to pick a Smallwood, not a Smallwood, Thomas Whitfield style, he's kind of jazz, classical jazz, jazz. Well, yeah, classical jazz gospel. Hmm. Roll. There we go. Okay, I'm just making it up as I go. I'm thinking of songs that I've played from him and how he would mirror his chords around melody. But these are all the different styles that are not being demonstrated today. And part of what I do with my site is to keep the hymnal, spiritual, anthem, early gospel, um, contemporary gospel, which is the Hawkins era and the Crouch era, the big band gospel, which is the um, your large choirs, L.A. Mass, Chicago Mass, Mississippi Mass, New Jersey Mass, Florida Mass, those choirs that had the real big band sound. If I would do that as a Chicago Mass choir, no, Chicago Mass choir, it's got that bounce. Milton Bunsen is what I was thinking about. There it is. The real big fat sound, big fat chords. John P. Key I can't quite get because he goes everywhere with his music. He's Southern gospel, contemporary, and big band all rolled into one. So I won't touch his style yet. But again, these are when you learn all these songs, and if you go to my playlist and go to the viewer request listing, you will find over 300 different styles of songs there so that you can hear some of the styles that were prevalent when those songs came out. Because as you see, I try to give an interpretation of what that song sounded like from that era, and that will add to your musical palette. Let's see, I don't lose anyone. How long have I been on? I believe I'm over an hour. Again, these are lives, are not planned. Well, over it's all over an hour and 11 minutes. So we've covered 3 songs, I believe, or 4 songs if you want to look at the Paul Morton song that I was looking at. Andrew, did I miss you? Welcome. Make sure I didn't miss anybody who came in. This is what I do here at Sound of Joy Music Services. I give musicians an advantage that they don't get anywhere else. I realize there are other music content creators, and I'm thankful for them because when they create something, I learn something. I learn their approach, their touch, the different movements that they use in the current songs of today. But as I endeavor to keep that traditional sound around, not just the hymnal sound, but those sounds that help me to be able to decipher the chords that are coming out now. I don't believe I have any more view. Looking at my list here, I've covered them all. So I'm currently up to date. The latest one was The Lord Help Me to Hold Out, which came in today, and I did timestamp that. I see an ad that is playing on my iPad. So you will get ads, which is the YouTube way of making sure that those of us that are monetized with ourselves can get an ad thrown in there and make a little bit of coin, as they say. But I try to keep the traditional sound around for those musicians who are in remote areas, who find themselves shifting over from drums, bass, or piano, and they're thrown into this, as I say, the fire of this music. And as you can see, I can, just from my memory, relate to what kind of a sound I would want to apply to any type of a song. We are moving into the month of May, which I'm now going to be switching over into the organ mode. I will still be doing viewer request breakdowns using the piano sound, because that is the easiest way to learn a song. But our Sunday church organ sound is going to assist musicians who find themselves on the organ, and there is no mentor locally or online that they can have reliance in to show them when the service turns to this. If they're doing a hymn, or if they're doing a praise song, the pastor decides to delve into the annals of history and pull out a song, how to make it sound churchy. And churchy is not always about doing this. That's not church. That is a chromatic run with chords. That's all that is, a chromatic run. I did that when I was 15 years old, practicing. I used to practice that just so I can feel comfortable moving up and down with left and right hand syncopation. When I got into church and I would hear them do that, I go, oh, I know what that is. Then I began to add the elements of jazz to it. In fact, I used to practice, let me see if I can pull this up, shouting music to a drum machine on an old organ my father had, where I would set the tempo to 166 beats. I'm just setting my rhythm section here. And we're going to end after this. I just want to be able to demonstrate what I would practice. Oh, I don't have it plugged in. Give it a chance to be recognized by the computer. Let's change that tempo up. There we go. That's my rhythm section. We'll go to 160 beats per minute. That's what I would practice at. Now that's fast, but I would practice at this tempo. Key of C. Even now, it's been a while since I've done that practice session. But that's how I would practice, to get my left hand bass ready. Now, nobody shouts that fast. Trying to move my mouse over so that I can change the volume on this. But this would be a practice session for me. long time since I've done this. Staccato. Change key. Bump, 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 bump. Boy, those are the practice sessions I would have as a youngster because I wanted to get my skill set and my hand speed up. And both hands had to be able to do the same thing. And my right hand had to be able to split from my left hand. It's hurting right now. Ooh, boy. I haven't practiced like that in a long time. In a long time. And that's just the key of C. I had to do that in every key. Whew. Enough of me doing the practice. That's how I'd warm up. And I would do that on the Hammond organ. So my foot had to be able to move at that same speed. Why? Because it gave me a discipline to be able to stay within sync. So if I wanted to do quicker chords, if I change keys, both hands. When you don't have a bass player, you have to create one. Time. And Wow, I'm gonna stop that. I haven't done that in so long. That's beginning to hurt. Dum, dum. My walking. Dum, 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 bum, 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 Ooh, all those chord changes that you hear me do are because I set myself in a disciplined mindset to just practice things I would probably never do. Unplug that in a morning service. But from a practice standpoint, it gives me the opportunity to see if I can do it. C, G flat, B, E, A, D, G, and C. All practice techniques that you will never find in a book anywhere, but when you're a musician who just wants to get learn all the different aspects of what you've heard and develop your own practice techniques, those are the things I would do as a youngster. So when I got into a church and they practiced at a much slower speed than what I was practicing at, then it came easier for me to just do a run. I was comfortable. Every time I sat down to an instrument, I had to be secure in myself. You use the word confident or self-confidence. No, I was practiced up. I had because I had practiced in my own time, basically giving up playing basketball, going out playing with the guys on the corner. I was on a keyboard or on a piano or on an organ in my father's TV shop, and working on what could I hear in my head. And we'll just practice going up and down the scales. In every key. So if I wanted to pull it out anytime I wanted to, left hand, hit that lower note, drop a chord. And these are the things that I have done as a youngster that I have no problem sharing here on the internet, on my YouTube channel, and with those who are being simulcast on my Facebook channel. So this brings us to the close of this another impromptu live viewer request session. As I say, I haven't checked the comments yet from this live. I'll see if there are any more requests that come up. We're only actually at the month of end of April, so this does bring us sort of to the close of the Piano Chord Builder series. Yes, I will still be throwing snippets in it. Did I cover everything I wanted to cover? I think I did. I don't know how much more I can give you to cover. As I say, I don't want to choke the viewers with so much. I probably just choked you now with all the things that I practiced when I was in my early teens and late teens. But these are all of the building blocks that I currently stand on, so that when I'm listening to another musician's interpretation of their way of placing chords around a song, I can pick out the notes that they're doing. Now, I did pick the song, Roll, Roll, Roll Your Boat. You could do that with Mary Had a Little Lamb. You can do that. I think I did a thing with the Baby Shark. Just looking at where those notes are, I already see chords. I can just automatically assign chord changes to it. Just from the A flat chord, 2 5 1 2 5 minor, the jazz turn. If I want to go classical with that, I mean contemporary. There we go, and wind up there. That is what music does for me. It allows me to improvise at will everything that I have practiced. Are there any questions before I bring this live to a close? I know we have a 30-second delay, so I'll give you an opportunity to type in something. Let me switch my view to the live session page. Yes, I do enjoy doing lives because I always want to give a musician an opportunity to ask questions of not only different styles, but the different techniques that I employ. I want you to learn everything that I know, but not to the point where you become frustrated. It has never been my my purpose for what I do. While I rest from being up working. Oh, okay. No problem, Andre. I watch your videos when you're in your marathon sessions on the organ. I'm saying, man, that guy spends a lot of time reharmonizing chords that he's picking up, and that's how, um, as I often say, I'm not a great musician. I'm a good church musician. I'm retired now, but I was a good church musician. I never, when you would hear uh, the accolades from people say, "Oh, professor." No, no, I'm not a professor. I'm a musician who loves to sit and explore the elements that are in front of me. If it's a 61 key keyboard, I'm limited by how many notes I can hit and the range I can have. If it's an 88 key keyboard, then I'm open to all 88 keys and exploring the different dynamics, not just playing notes to play notes, but the different expressions. As you can see, I can maneuver it into different chord styles from different eras of other songs from other creators of music. That is something that is not can't you can't teach that. Again, I was never sat with a music teacher for them to imprint on me their style. So every time you see me play, you hear me call out a name of a composer, gospel composer. I'll call that out because that's where I'm getting that style from. I did not invent it. I heard it used in a different song, and I'm just imploring those chords, those changes, that mode of how they approached it in the song I'm currently in. One great thing about playing for a church is that you have a license to add many different styles to any songs. Yes, I know the CCM songs lock you into numbers, but I believe in more than numbers. I believe in progressions and the enhanced and extended chords that can add a new life to what's being sung. Yes, when you hear the lyrics being constantly repeated and just the song gets louder, or the the orchestration gets more bolder, nothing wrong with that. Again, I look at the songs that have got over 100 million views with 4 chords, and I go, I could have wrote that too. Welcome, Cedric. So, and you kind of caught the end. If you were here during the earlier part of this live stream, you would have an opportunity to see the two breakdowns of the songs I did. Lord Help Me to Hold Out, and the hymn, There's Not a Friend Like the Lowly Jesus, No, Not One. I always want a hymn to match the fervor of the actual lyrics, which is why, to me, lyrics are important. So sometimes I shouldn't recite them if I don't have a teleprompter in front of me. But it is the way in which I can look at how I want to chord the song other than the original. If I were to, let's switch to my main lesson page. If I were to key of A flat, if I were to look at a hymn, and I always try to close with a song just to leave you with a thank you. If I were to look at a song that is based upon, gee, how else would I look at this? I'm gonna stay in A flat. Now, if I touch that, then I'll get a copyright strike. If I were to look at Richard Smallwood's interpretation of his song Healing and how he starts that song, where he's in a classical mode. There it is. I look at that opening and I go, okay, I wouldn't have used that, but can I borrow that? Two, 5, 1. So he's using the jazz progressions and applying classical sounding chords. But if I did not know that this was meant 2, 5, 1, it's 2, right, 1, 2, 5, 1 in the key of F. But a 2 in F number system is a minor. He goes to the major, which is a classical turn. Now he's in E flat. Now he's in A flat. Flat the G flat. Now he's in G flat. Now he's in B major, B flat major, which is also D flat minor. Back in E flat, back in A flat. He's back in F. A diminished chord. Wrong. Hearing that 7th note puts me in D flat. 2, 5, 1. I want to say he's in the next chord is C minor 6. D flat minor 6. 2, 5, 1. Two, 5, 1 in E flat. And because I listened intently to hear his movements, minor, or major. Not a 2-5-1, but a 5-1. Every song I learn gives me more chords to pick from, to use in any other song. There it is. So, learn every song you possibly can learn. Learn the approaches, learn the styles, learn the movement. And you learn that from practicing scales. Diminish. B flat, minor. I'm in the wrong key, but because I know where the song is going, it's just a matter of applying those techniques to be able to play it in a different key. If I keep playing, as I often say, I'm going to keep playing. So let's change to this page so I'll get away from the keyboard. Let's thank those that have come in and have spent some time here with me. Thank you, Hezekiah, for coming. With the K, I cannot pronounce that correctly and do your name justice. Queen Esther, Andrew Golf, Yo. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed you from Australia. Could you do me a view request? It is a sentimental mood. Sorry, yo. Duke Ellington is not in my wheelhouse. The only thing I do from Duke Ellington is Come Sunday. So I'm sorry I cannot answer that request. I generally do requests for church musicians, for church songs. I'm not even familiar with that Duke Ellington. As I say, when I immersed myself in church music, I omitted so many other styles and so many composers because I wanted to make sure that I was correct in my assignment of chords to church style music. I have to take a look at. Sorry, I missed your request, Duke Ellington. Now I'm kind of curious what it sounds like. In a Sentimental Mood by Duke Ellington. Let's see what it sounds like. In a sentimental, spell it correctly. There it is, Sentimental Mood. And I see others have already done a breakdown of it, so you will be able to find it on YouTube. Let me just play it and see what it sounds like. Yeah, I'm listening to original recording of it, so it's a little bit off key. And that's what I've gotten so far from it. Sorry, not in my wheelhouse of learning it. That era of jazz is iconic, and wouldn't dare try to mess with it and mess it up. But I did see when I was doing my search for it on YouTube, others have broken that down. I'm sure they've done a much better job than I would. There are a lot of people have actually done that. Again, if I were going to immerse myself in the world of jazz, I do have a 500-page jazz fake book. I invested in that. So I said, if I'm going to learn jazz, let me learn it from a book that has broken down the jazz chords and the jazz terminology. When I looked at the chords, I'm like, what kind of symbol is that? I had to realize they have different ways of symbolizing sharps and flats, rather diminished and minors in their music, their chords. So I had to re-educate myself correctly before I can actually jump into it. But thanks for your comment. It does add to the stream. Who else did I miss here looking at this? Queen Esther, Brother Thomas Mitchell. Oh, no wonder I didn't see your request. It didn't. Oh, there it is. From Australia. Of course, Andre Clark and Strivin Shedrick from Texas. Again, thanks for coming in, spending some time with me. I may look at that in a sentimental mood. I see so many other different versions of it. There was one there with Ella Fitzgerald singing. I may just look at that just to hear that change, because that's kind of in the big band sound. I almost thought I was playing. There's a jazz song that I can remember. What is it called? Again, if I start playing on the piano, all of a sudden I'll start pulling up stuff from my memory. Someone watching over me. That's what it started when I first heard it. Hmm. G. Is I'll listen to everything to get chord movements. Why? Because I can use those chord changes in a hymn. Again, I'm gonna stop playing. Thank you all for coming, spending some time with me. Sam Tobit, Sound of Joy Music Services. Um, Month of May. Look forward to the Sunday Organ Church series. I'll be using not just this setup down here, but I have another setup at my Studio B, where you won't see my hands, but you will see the chords, because the organ playing, especially church Sunday organ playing, is about setting a mood, and that starts with you. Take care now. Be blessed. See you again on the next live viewer request. Take care.